Next we'll move on to, next we'll take it through nomination. Nomination is nothing but in the case of life insured absence. Okay, he has to propose someone who has to receive the money in the absence of the life insured. Is what we call as a nominee. Now, who can become nominee? Anyone can become a nominee, and you can put any number of people as nominee. Now, remember, nomination is done as per the section 39 of Insurance Act of 1930. That is section 39 is what actually deals with nomination. Nomination. See, there are certain situations where nomination is not required. As I mentioned, anyone can become the nominee. You can put anyone as a nominee there, and any number of persons as nominee. And whenever the nominee is minor, okay, suppose if the nominees are minor, you have to put an appointee. Okay, appointee, anyone can be appointee. For example, father taking a policy, putting kid who is a minor, then mother can become the appointee, or grandparent can become the appointee. Appointee is the person who will collect the money in place of nominee. Okay, has to be appointed. Now, whenever there is a policy owner, okay, whenever there is a policy owner, then nomination is not required. See, for example, if a husband is taking a policy in the name of wife, okay, so who is the life insured? Wife is the life insured. Who is the policy owner? Husband. So in this situation, nomination is not required. Why? Because when death comes, like automatically the money will come to the policy owner. Okay. So that is with regards to nomination. And second is assignment. Assignment is nothing but transfer of ownership. Okay. Transferring the rights of the property is what we call as assignment. Okay. Ownership of the life insurance policy. And there are two types: conditional and absolute. Conditional means you can put some certain conditions, okay, so that the policy comes back to you. If it is absolute, then it will never come back to you. If you want that to be if you want to receive it back, then they have to do reassign the policy. Okay, now what is the process? I will tell you on assignment. There are two peoples involved. One is called as assigner. Okay, assigner is the person who assigns the policy, and who receives the policy is called as assignee. And remember, who is the policy owner here? Assignee will be the policy owner, and the life insured will be the assigner. Remember, in life insurance we cannot change the insured object can never be changed. Even when you sell the car, still the insured object is the car. Only the policy owner changes. Here also same. Assigner is life insured and assignee is policy owner. Okay. Now, who has to die to get money? The assigner has to die. Okay, if death happens to the assigner, then the money will be paid to the assignee. Even if the policy matures or claim, okay, it will be go only to the assignee. For example, if he has taken a rider, as I mentioned, a rider is nothing but an additional benefit to cover your health. Suppose he has taken a rider for 50,000 rupees and he has been diagnosed with a heart attack. Immediately the company will pay this 50,000 rupees. And whom it will go? It will go only to the assignee, because the assigner doesn't have any rights over the policy once it's transferred. Remember, once assignment is done, the nomination gets cancelled. Okay, and also neither the assignee nor his legal heirs. Okay, either the assigner or the legal heirs does not have any ownership on this policy. It's entirely gone to the assignee and his legal heir. So I am repeating, if death happens to the assignee, no benefit is payable, because in life insurance, if death happens to policy owner, nothing is payable. It is payable only in case of life insurance. Now, if assigner dies, money will be paid to assignee. So assume a situation where assigner died and also the assignee is not there. Then who the money will go? The money will go to the legal heir. Okay, it will not come back to the assigner. Okay, so that is what we call as assignment. Okay, so there are different situations which you can go through on that. Then I mentioned duplicate policy. Duplicate policy will be issued, okay, but that doesn't change the terms and conditions. Okay, claim can be settled by furnishing an indemnity bond, okay, if the original policy document is lost. Alterations, you can make any alterations, okay, in the name of change, premium payment, address change, everything can be done. But remember one thing, change of nomination. Change of nomination, if it has come to effect, okay, if it has to be effective, you have to intimate the company and it has to be altered in the document. Okay, it has to be altered in the document. If it is not altered in the document, then we cannot be considered as changed. Okay, change in certain clauses of insurance of term where there is no change in risk. Under that circumstances, company can consider those changes. Okay, normally is change in mode of premium, change in date of commencement, splitting of 2 or more policies. Okay, splitting of policies can be done. Removal of extra premium, restricted class, change from without to profit. Okay. Now let us look into underwriting. See, underwriting is the process where which the underwriter assesses the risk. Now, when it comes to underwriting, there are 2 levels of underwriting. Okay, in underwriting there are two levels. One is field level. Okay, that is we call as primary level. Okay, that is done by the agent. Then second is department level or secondary level. Okay, that is done by the underwriter. Okay, now as an agent we also do the underwriting process because we see the customer directly and we decide on that. Underwriter underwrites the policy, keeps based on the documents or the information which is provided on the proposal form. Okay, now what are the decisions you can do? Let us see. Now before that we have to understand what are the types of risk. As we have mentioned before, there are certain situations where the risk keep increasing. For example, mortality rate is increasing. Mortality rate is increasing means risk is increasing. Okay. Suppose the mortality rate is as per standard. Okay. There is no, it's as per standard means it's a standard life. If the mortality rate is significantly low, that means if it is getting lower, that means risk is reduced. It is called as a preferred life. Preferred life in the sense a person who has never smoked in his life. Okay, such type of people. Suppose the mortality rate goes higher, that is if it is started to increase, then it is called a substandard life. That means the risk is going higher. Then if it is more higher and the mortality goes very significantly high and it is not affordable, then they will decline. They will return the policy to the customer. The policy will not be issued. Whatever money they have paid will be refunded. Now, once underwriter goes through the process and he feels that the risk is normal, then he would accept policy. Okay, the policy will be accepted at ordinary rate. It's the normal rate which you already mentioned on the time of prospecting. Okay, at the time of proposal form filling. That is your office premium. The same premium will be accepted. If there is a risk and the charges are extra, they will put extra rate will be charged. Okay, extra rate will be given. In certain classes, what will happen is they will put a lien. They will accept it, but he will put a lien. What is lien? I will tell you. See, for example, now I have a comment submitting a proposal for life insurance, but I have undergone a treatment for malaria. So as far as the underwriter is concerned, the risk is high now, but gradually we are expecting the risk to get reduced. So in those cases, they put a lien. Okay, so what happens in the lien? When death happens in the first year, they will give only 20% of your sum assured. 80% is the lien amount. Second year, they will give 40% of sum assured. 60% of lien amount. This keeps on increasing. Okay. And by the end of 5th year, 100%. So lien is applicable only for a particular period. Then we talked about restrictive clause. Accepting with a restrictive clause is same like pregnancy. Lady with pregnancy applying, we will put some restriction on that for that particular, but that is applicable for the entire term. Guy who is working as a pilot, coming and taking a policy, they will mention that if you are working as a pilot, if death happens, we will not covering your risk as you are working in a pilot, but as a passenger it will be covered. So that is very clause. Okay. Then there are certain risks in underwriting. Female insurance minus the possibility of risk is high. Okay, because female depends on various factors: pregnancy problems, moral hazard, domestic violence, minor proper family history will not be there, physics has not been developed. So there comes these two people comes under the high risk category when it comes to. Then the risk increases with large sum assured, as we mentioned earlier. Okay. Then age. Okay, when age increases, there can be challenges. Moral hazard. Okay, moral hazard is nothing but if people on that depends on his lifestyle, as I mentioned. Consumption of alcohol. The customer is not revealing any facts. It's a moral hazard. Occupational risk is a hazard that increases risk. These are certain areas where it increases your risk. Now, medical and non-medical. See, for example, if you look into policies, not every policies we go for medical. Only policies with high sum assured and higher age will be sent for medical. Okay, others will be non-medical cases. For example, if a person of age 50 working in a coal mine, that will be sent for medical because there is a high risk category. Okay, why medical history is important? Because that can be of different family history. Okay, family history is not that so good. Hereditary diseases. Okay, there are certain diseases which are hereditary. Okay, then we have to do medical. Personal history, we have to look. Then your build, height, weight, blood pressure. Okay, so these are the factors where we look into. See, medical factors that will influence underwriter's decision. Okay, the factors which can influence decision is family history. Okay, hereditary diseases, personal history. Okay, so these are the things which can impact the decision of the underwriter. So that either he can decline the policy or he can issue the policy based on this. Okay.